The contact came from a law firm Maya recognized, Baker, Izar and Klein. Not because she had worked with them before, but because they were a high-profile and long-established law firm. They were the kind of firm that represented people who did not expect to lose. Their name didn't appear in headlines often, and when it did, it was because something had already been contained. The email was brief, discreet, no names in writing. It stated that the situation was sensitive. They needed a confidential vulnerability review at the federal level. The situation was time-sensitive. We were advised you could handle complexity without publicity. Maya read the last line twice. Without publicity. She forwarded it to Sam. Sam's one-word reply arrived 3 minutes later. Federal. Maya sent back the only detail provided. Judiciary. There was a longer pause. Then, who? The firm is requiring a signed NDA before releasing the client name. Maya signed it without hesitation, not because she trusted them, but because the mechanism itself revealed the mindset. The name arrived in a single, encrypted message. She opened it, one eyebrow rising in surprise. Senator Daniel Whitaker, she told Sam. That's interesting, Sam said. The senator was a senior member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, public face of a bipartisan federal prison reform bill moving toward floor vote in 9 days. The kind of politician who spoke in complete sentences with controlled emotion and always seemed to be on the right side of public morality. The bill itself was being covered as a rare point of unity. Sentencing reform, re-entry programs, mental health provisions, community transition grants. Maya scanned the language with the patience of someone who didn't trust headlines to summarize structure. Sam was faster. Scroll, Sam said over the secure line. Find the operational expansion clause. Maya located it, subsection 14C. It was phrased like a contingency mechanism, transitional detention partnerships to supplement federal capacity during facility constraints and program transition. It reads like logistics, Maya said. It reads like guaranteed volume, Sam replied. Maya didn't argue. She didn't need to. Maya contacted the law firm via the contact number provided in the entire email to confirm that she was willing to conduct the review. The woman who had taken her call booked an in-person meeting the next day at the firm's DC office. The small conference room they placed her in was polished to the point of neutrality. Nothing personal, nothing distinctive, everything selected to signal seriousness without emotion. A partner entered with a controlled smile. Ms. Cross, he said, thank you for coming on such short notice. Maya nodded once. My name is Michael Winters. He introduced himself. He gestured to the chair waiting for Maya to take the seat. Then he sat, folded his hands, and skipped pleasantries the way powerful people did when they wanted to remind you they didn't need your comfort. Maya said nothing, looking directly at the lawyer, waiting for him to speak. He opened a thin file marked Internal Review lying in front of him on the desk. He looked at Maya, directly assessing her almost clinically, and then spoke with controlled precision. We want to identify exposure, he said, before it becomes narrative. Maya noted that this was not about conflict, but exposure. Maya's voice remained even. Define exposure. Anything that can be interpreted as undue influence, he said. Anything that could raise an ethics question at the wrong moment. At the wrong moment. Maya kept her expression still. And your client's objective? The partner didn't flinch. To protect legislative momentum, he said, and to protect trust. He slid a folder across the table. Maya didn't touch it immediately. You were recommended, the partner added almost casually. We were told you don't dramatize what you find. Maya looked up. By whom? She asked. A half-second pause. Too small for most people. Not too small for her. That's not relevant, the partner said. It was relevant. Maya made a note without writing it down. Someone inside this ecosystem already knows my name. The meeting lasted another 5 minuets. Maya was briefed further on the significant details of her review. She formally agreed to conduct the review. When the partner stood to end the meeting, Maya rose at the same pace. As she walked out, she saw a man exiting a side conference room near the elevators. He was mid-40s, tall, controlled. Not flashy, but he carried the quiet authority of someone used to being listened to. His suit was impeccable, not for style, but for purpose. He paused. His eyes met hers. Recognition, not surprise. "Ms. Cross," he said. Maya didn't slow. "We've met," she replied. A faint shift at the edge of his mouth, almost a smile. "I don't forget disciplined thinkers," he said. That was all. He didn't ask how she was. He didn't offer a card. He didn't explain why he was there. And he didn't chase the moment. Maya entered the elevator and let the doors close. Outside, she sent Sam a message. Adrian Vale was at the law firm. Sam replied instantly. "The security conference man?" "Yes." A longer pause. "Then that means this isn't only legal containment. It's intelligence containment." Maya stared at the message for a beat. Then she typed, "or intelligence interest." Intelligence. The two women didn't start with the senator. They started with the machine around him. Senator Whitaker's financial disclosures were clean. No direct holdings in private prison equities, no obvious ownership, no crude conflict. Clean enough to survive a casual ethics scan. Too clean to trust. Sam built the first map, lobbying expenditures and legislative timing. Maya built the second, family networks and advisory relationships. Their methods complemented each other. Sam moved quickly through association. Maya moved slowly through structure. A few hours in, Sam said, "Check Horizon Corrections Group." "Horizon?" Maya asked. "Largest federal detention contractor positioned to benefit from 14C, Sam replied. "And the board's advisory roster is interesting." Maya opened the advisory list. Andrew Callan, brother-in-law. Maya's expression didn't change, but the air in the room did. "Compensation?" Maya asked. Sam already had it. "Advisory package includes equity-linked incentives," she said. "Performance bonus triggers tied to federal contract expansion." "So if federal detention partnerships expand," Maya said. "His advisory comp increases," Sam finished, "and any connected family investment exposure rises with it." Maya leaned back. This wasn't a smoking gun. It was architecture. Architecture was enough. They traced the timeline. 6 weeks earlier, during committee markup, subsection 14C had been inserted. It had passed quietly, not because it was invisible, because it was framed as operational necessity. Maya compared early draft language to the final committee version. The shift was subtle but decisive, from discretionary capacity expansion under documented need to capacity assurance under transition partnership authority. One version was optional, the other version was automatic. Maya stared at the shift for a long moment. "Someone didn't just add a clause," she said. "Someone engineered eligibility." Sam checked Horizon's lobbying reports. Increased spending in the quarter leading up to markup. Policy consultants assigned to judiciary relationships. 2 meetings logged with Whitaker's legislative staff. Nothing illegal, Sam said. Nothing needs to be, Maya replied. Maya moved next to trust filings. Senator Whitaker's family trust had reallocated assets in the weeks surrounding markup, not into Horizon directly, into a diversified infrastructure and services fund whose holdings included Horizon's parent equity, layered, plausibly distant, but aligned. Sam overlapped the dates. Advisory compensation terms revised 9 days before markup, she said. And trust reallocation? Maya asked. 4 days after, Sam replied. Maya didn't speak for several seconds. That timing wasn't random. It was disciplined. And discipline in proximity management meant the client knew exactly what appearance risk looked like, which meant the law firm wasn't asking, is there a conflict? They were asking, how much can be proven? Maya's phone vibrated, a request for a call from Whitaker's chief counsel, Jude Paulson. Sam muted her screen and looked at Maya. That's quick, she said. It's control, Maya replied. They took the call together, Sam listening silently. The chief counsel's tone was calm, educated, and carefully neutral. Ms. Cross, he said, we understand you're reviewing potential appearance vulnerabilities. We want to ensure your conclusions remain grounded in statutory definitions. This is a sensitive vote. Maya's voice didn't change. My report will be grounded in evidence and exposure, she said. We'd appreciate avoiding language that implies wrongdoing, he replied. Maya didn't argue. I do not deal in implication, she said. I deal in structure. A pause. Then the chief counsel added almost casually, we're aware of your work with Hope. Sam's eyes sharpened. Of course they were. Your approach is thorough, the counsel continued. That can be valuable. We simply prefer not to create unnecessary narrative. Narrative again. Maya didn't respond immediately. She let the silence do what it was meant to do, reveal who needed control. I will submit the report to the retaining party, she said. And only the retaining party, the counsel said almost gently. Maya's tone stayed level. I submit to the parties necessary for oversight, she replied. Another pause. Then, understood. The call ended. Sam spoke first. They're not asking, she said. They're shaping. They're measuring, Maya corrected. How much resistance I have. And Maya looked back at the screen, at the alignment map now unmistakable. I have exactly as much as truth requires, she said. That night Maya wrote the memorandum. Not as an accusation, as an exposure assessment. It opened with scope, method, and sources. It included the timeline, markup, clause shift, lobbying increase, advisory incentive adjustment, trust reallocation. It included a section titled Proximity Risk, Familial Advisory Compensation and Legislative Timing. Another, Appearance Risk, Indirect Exposure through Fund Allocations, and another, Interpretation, Risk, Clause Engineering and Eligibility Assurance. Sam reviewed the draft line by line. No emotion, she said. No narrative, Maya replied. Just architecture. Sam pointed to the conclusion paragraph. Keep it clinical, she said. The more clinical it is, the harder it is to dismiss. Maya nodded and adjusted wording. Final conclusion. While no statutory violation is evident within materials reviewed, the alignment of legislative timing, advisory compensation structures, and indirect trust exposure creates substantial appearance-based vulnerability. Mitigation is recommended prior to floor vote. At 11:47 p.m., Maya sent it. to the law firm, to the senator's chief counsel, and, procedurally, copied it to the Senate Ethics Committee liaison listed in Judiciary Oversight documentation. Not to media, not to activists, not to anyone hungry for spectacle, just to the mechanism that made "I didn't know" impossible. When she hit send, she didn't feel triumph. She felt weight, because she knew what came next. By morning, the environment had changed. Not dramatically, efficiently. An updated judiciary schedule hit the press pool. Floor vote delayed pending ethics clarification. No names, no sources. But delay was visible, and visibility was enough to make markets and reputations twitch. Sam watched the first news segment silently. "They contained your name," she said. "They contained the memo," Maya replied. "But they can't contain the fact that a significant review exists." At 6:14 a.m., a voicemail arrived from the chief counsel. "Ms. Cross, we need to discuss distribution scope." Maya didn't return the call. At 8:20 a.m., the law firm called instead. Their tone was cooler now, still polite, but stripped of warmth. "We were under the impression this would remain advisory," the liaison said. "It is advisory," Maya replied. "Advisory to relevant oversight." A pause. "You've made our client vulnerable," the liaison said. Maya's voice stayed calm. "No," she said. "The structure did." The liaison's patience thinned. "You understand the practical consequences of this," they said. "Yes," Maya replied. "That's why I documented method." The call ended quickly after that. An hour later, the senator issued a statement. Polished, calculating, controlled. "I welcome any review that ensures public trust in this legislation. Integrity matters. This reform matters." He didn't deny proximity. He reframed it as transparency. He didn't fight the stall. He used it. Later that afternoon, Maya received a text from an unknown number. Efficient execution. She stared at it for a moment, then showed it to Sam. Sam's expression didn't shift much, but her eyes hardened. "That would be our mystery man, Mr. Vale," she said. "You're sure?" Maya asked. Sam didn't answer directly. She didn't need to. Maya didn't respond to the text. That evening, after a quiet meeting with an ethics staffer, nothing dramatic, just procedural questions and a note of thanks for clear documentation, Maya stepped out into the early night air near Capitol Hill. Across the street, Adrian Vale stood near a lamppost, hands in his coat pockets. Not hiding, not approaching like a threat, present like a fact. Sam saw him at the same time. Maya didn't change pace, neither did he. When they were close enough to speak without turning the sidewalk into a scene, he stepped slightly toward them. Respectful distance, not invasion. "Ms. Cross," he said. Maya met his gaze. "Mr. Vale." He glanced briefly at Sam, acknowledging her presence without dismissing it. "Efficient execution," he said again, this time aloud. "No spectacle." Maya's expression remained neutral. "Were you expecting spectacle?" she asked. Adrian's mouth shifted, a faint, almost smile. "Most people mistake noise for impact." Sam's eyes stayed on him. "Why are you here?" He didn't answer directly. He never did, but he didn't evade either. "I track systems," he said. "When they bend." "They bend often," Maya replied. "Yes," he said. "They rarely break." A small pause. He looked at Maya a fraction longer than necessary. Not intrusive, not crude, just attentive. "You're testing that theory," he said quietly. Maya didn't soften. "I document structures," she replied. "They decide what they do with them. Adrian nodded once. "Your kind narrows your field," he said. "It clarifies it," Maya answered. Another pause. His gaze held steady, but something in it warmed, respect, and something adjacent to curiosity that wasn't purely professional. "Clarity has a cost," he said. "So does compromise," Maya replied. Adrian's eyes flicked briefly to Sam, then back to Maya. The faint, almost smile returned. "You're consistent," he said. "I noticed that the first time." He didn't press further. No phone number, no invitation, no flirtation. Just the smallest hint of personal interest embedded inside respect. Then he stepped back. "Good evening, Ms. Cross, Ms. Carter," and he walked away into the city like he belonged to it. Sam watched him go. "That wasn't a threat," she said. "No," Maya replied. "That was interest." Maya didn't answer immediately. "Interest can still be dangerous," Sam added. "Yes," Maya said softly, "but it can also be useful." The next day, the stall turned into a headline. Prison reform vote paused as ethics questions surfaced. Still no names attached to the memo. No leak. Just pressure building behind the scenes. Horizon Correction stock dipped modestly. Not a crash, a signal. Political consultants began framing the delay as due diligence. Senator Whitaker's office emphasized transparency and integrity. The bill did not die dramatically. It paused publicly, which was its own kind of damage. 2 days later, the law firm sent a short message. "Our representation requirements have shifted. We will not require further services." Translation: "You're done, and you will not be invited back." Maya expected that. What she didn't expect was how quickly the narrowing began. A corporate compliance consultation she'd been discussing went silent. A foundation partnership conversation was postponed indefinitely. A colleague she once trusted replied to a message with only 3 words. "Hope you're well." Sam read it like a briefing report. "You're being categorized," she said. "As what?" Maya asked. Sam didn't hesitate. "As inconvenient." Maya nodded once. Inconvenient to power was the cost of being accurate, where accuracy had consequences. Then a different message arrived. Not from media, not from activists. From a Senate oversight staffer requesting consultation, discreet. Sam looked at her and raised an eyebrow. Maya didn't smile, but the weight in her shoulders shifted slightly. "They don't want a commentator," Sam said. "They want a documentation," Maya replied. She created a new encrypted folder. Whitaker, proximity architecture. Inside it, she stored the memo, the timeline charts, the clause comparison, and the ethics liaison receipt confirmation. Then she created another folder beneath it. Pattern. Influence. Sam watched silently. "You're building a library," she said. "I'm building proof," Maya replied. That night, Sam asked the question she rarely asked aloud. Was it worth it? Maya stood near the window, looking out at the city lights that blurred into distance. "Yes," she said. "Why?" Maya didn't dramatize. "Because proximity without scrutiny becomes power," she replied, "and power without scrutiny becomes permission." Sam nodded once. The bill would return eventually. The architecture would adapt, Senator Whitaker would recalibrate, and Maya's name would travel quietly, not in headlines, but in rooms where people spoke in careful language and counted consequences, not as reckless, not as partisan, as precise. The road would get smaller, but it would get clearer. Sam picked up her coat. "What's next?" she asked. Maya checked her encrypted inbox. A new message had arrived. Subject line, Federal Procurement Review. Urgent. Maya closed the laptop gently. "We keep going," she said.